Shedding those extra pounds, not easy. More than 66% of Americans consider themselves overweight and want to drop those pounds. But to do it, our next guest says you have to change your behavior and how you approach sugar and flour. Dr. Tiffany Wright has a Ph.D. and she's also the LA Skinny Coach. She's inspired countless men and women around the world to find their healthy, thin bodies and minds. Dr. Wright, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so how do you define skinny?
How do I define skinny? Skinny is not a size 0 or a size 2. I'm not a size 0. Skinny is about really being in control of what you eat, being able to control what you put in your mouth. You know, when you can't do that, when you lie to yourself day after day, I'm going to start today, I'm going to start tomorrow, I'm going to eat less, and you don't, you know, it's kind of psychically devastating. So skinny is about being in control of what you put in your mouth, what you eat, and the way your body looks, the way you want it to look.
Okay, we're going to talk more about that in just a few minutes. But first, you told me that you were basically fat for most of your life?
I was 100 pounds overweight from the time I was 8. And so I was a fat kid, and I came from a long line of fat people.
You say that so easily.
Yeah.
Like, you want people to know that.
Yeah, because I'm not any different than anybody else. My first Weight Watchers meeting was when I was 8 years old.
There's your picture right there, your before and after.
Yeah, and I was 8 years old, and I used to go to Weight Watchers meetings every Monday night with my mother. And then afterwards, we would go to Denny's and have a patty melt. But we would share the ice cream sundae because we were on a diet after all. So that was the beginning of the next 20 years of lots of diets.
And you decided that just wasn't working, and you came up with your own approach.
Right. I was a doctoral candidate at the time, and I looked at the data and the knowledge I had and put it together and came up with the Skinny Coach solution.
Okay, what is this Skinny Coach solution? You're basically, what, rewiring the way people think about sugar and flour and everything else?
Right, it's twofold. It's the food part first. And we don't eat, my skinny girls and my manly men, that's what I call them, we don't eat sugar or flour ever. It's an abstinence-based program. So we don't eat any sugar or flour, but we also eat lots of carbohydrates. It's not a low-carb diet. It's not a low-fat diet. It's not even a low-calorie diet. It's just no refined foods, no sugar and flour, because of the way that those foods operate in the brain and cause addictive behavior, and the way they produce high glucose levels, which cause that belly fat people have.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so how do you teach people to deal with that willpower? Because willpower is probably the most crucial thing here.
Well, I actually don't think willpower has anything to do with it.
Really? Okay.
Really.
So what is it?
So I put together a whole set of psychological tools, behavioral modification techniques, cognitive therapy techniques, and psychoanalysis in a program, and I work with my people every day to rewire their brain, to think like a skinny person. Because if they knew how to think, if they knew how to deal with the situation, they wouldn't be overweight. They wouldn't be struggling. They don't know how to look at the situation, sabotaging thoughts, negative thinking.
Give me an example of this.
Okay. All right. Yesterday, I have a gal. Her name's Diane. She's been on plan on the Skinny Coach solution for 2 months. She's lost 20 pounds, and it's her son's birthday. And so she called me up, because my clients call me every day. She called me up and she said, how am I not going to have my son's birthday cake?
Exactly.
And I said, Diane, when you called me, you were 20 pounds fatter, you were crying, you were actually on insulin for type 2 diabetes, which you're not on anymore. You know, you wanted to be in a smaller dress. You cannot have the chocolate cake and be a size 8. You cannot have the chocolate cake and not be a type 2 diabetic. If you could have both, you wouldn't be fat, sick, tired, and miserable. It's one or the other. Do you want the chocolate cake, or do you want the insulin shots? Or do you want the size 8?
And that worked. That did the trick. And what about exercise?
Well, exercise is very good for your heart. It's good for your mood. It's good for your energy levels. It doesn't do much for weight loss. Less than 10%, actually.
It's really about what you're eating, right, when it comes to weight loss?
90% of weight loss has to do with diet. And not just any kind of diet. I want to be clear, it's not about calories. The notion that it's calories in, calories out has been unequivocally proven incorrect. It's, the body's not a bank account. It's not calories in, calories out. It's more like a chemistry lab. And what you eat affects a whole cascade of hormonal outcomes. So eating good carbohydrates, eating the right amount of protein, and eating the right volume of food is going to affect fast weight loss.
And you have a cookbook.
I do.
To help people through this.
The Skinny Coach Solution Cookbook, and all the recipes in it are sugar and flour free. Because a lot of people think, oh, how can you cook without sugar or flour? It's actually really easy.
Really?
We have over 200 recipes in there, all sugar and flour free. Chili, pancakes. Yes, you can make pancakes.
I love pancakes. Right now, you also have a sugar addiction quiz and a free session for our viewers.
Yes, at skinnycoach.com there's a quiz, and that'll tell you if you're addicted to sugar, and I'm happy to give any of your viewers a free session.
I might be calling you. And that number is 310-633-1333, or you can email info@skinnycoach.com. Also, as you can see, there is a website there, and that website is skinnycoach.com.
Yes, sir.
All right, Dr. Wright, thanks so much for being with us.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Don't go away. There's more Connecticut Style right after this.